Hey guys! I'm totally excited to be here tonight. I'm excited to start talking about this Jupiter business that we've got going on. I have received your orders, so as you know from putting your orders in, it may take a couple days to get your charts and to get all of that stuff, but don't worry, they are absolutely coming. And if you haven't gotten your order done for tonight yet, let me fill you in on what's going on. I have got the natal charts, the full natal charts on sale again right now for $5. It'll only be until the end of this streaming session. And that is because I was getting a lot of questions about, okay, Jupiter's in Scorpio, so what does this mean? And what house is it in for me? And that's really important because that's what we're going to talk about tonight is Jupiter in Scorpio, which is great, but which houses it's in? How does it affect and impact those houses? And you need to know that in your own chart. For me personally, I'm going to be having a Jupiter return, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. 2, it's going to be happening in my 3rd house. So that means something way different than if Jupiter was just in Scorpio, not in a return for me, and in the 8th house. So we want to be very specific when we're looking at your information. So the $5 natal charts, hey, I see y'all. I know, I do look like a pirate because I just could not get my hair life together after the gym. But the other thing that is going on besides the $5 full natal chart sale, and you can get that for yourself, for anybody you need, if this is the time, when I do something like this is the time to bulk order those natal charts. The other thing I've got going right now until the end of this broadcast is called the Jupiter 10. So it's a 10-minute video. I'm going to focus on your chart, your astrology, looking at how Jupiter is going to impact it. What are the aspects? All of that good kind of stuff that is specific to you. Then I record it and send it on over to you. Pretty simple, right? So not too bad. So if you haven't taken care of both of those things, actually give me 2 seconds. I'm going to actually, sorry, my nose is tickling. I'm going to put both links to those things in the chat box here. Let me pull those up really quickly. And then I'm going to put those in the chat box. So if you haven't had the chance to snag yours, you can go ahead and do it. So here's the one for Jupiter 10. I'm putting this, I just spelled that all kinds of crazy. I'm putting this over in the chat box, so hopefully you can see it. And let me get the full natal charts going. Okay, now remember, both of these are only until the end of this chat. When I close this out, then those will be done. And of course, you can always still get your full natal chart. You can get any of that astrology stuff that you need at stormygrace.com. So it's not that it's going away. I just wanted to do something special for us tonight because I was at the gym and I'm like, this would make sense if I did this way. So that's how inspiration comes to me. I think it's all my Libra energy. So anywho, here we go. And there is the one for the full natal, so they are down in the description box and you have access to them. Okay, so before we get started, I just want to say welcome. Thank you everybody for showing up. Pepsi Wolf, we got Lisa Andro in here, Mia Moore. Oh, I love that, Mia Moore, that's so great. Cupcakes and Pie, Heather, hi Heather, Spice Beauty. Looks like we've got Nathalie in here, Erin, Leah, Bets. Let's see, lots. Jonathan, Tamara, hi everybody. So just hi Marina, hi Val, hi Leslie. If I didn't get a chance to say hi to you yet, sorry. We're gonna get rolling though, because let me tell you guys a little secret about what else is happening tonight. I'm going to romance my boyfriend, so I'm pretty excited. So let's talk astrology. Okay, hi. First and foremost, what we've got Jupiter coming into the sign of Scorpio, getting done with his tour in the sign of Libra. I hope you have watched my Jupiter into Scorpio video so that you can check that out and kind of get some details about what exactly is going on with that whole transit. But ultimately, what's going to happen is wherever Jupiter is at, one of the things that people tend to teach about Jupiter is that it's the planet of expansion. And it is. And that's great because it's a great planet for expansion. But the other thing that Jupiter is about is not just expanding the mind, not just expanding this area of your life, and it's not also just about luck and fortune. Jupiter is also about, when he expands, he wants to expand you out into the world. So something about you, wherever this house is that this is happening in, he's also going to expand your skills, your talents, your whatever out into the world. And it's beautiful because wherever Jupiter goes, he pulls in an opportunity, right? But he pulls it like right in front of you. He doesn't give it to you. You have to go to it, right? But he does bring a sense of abundance if you will move your tushy and get yourself to it. So it's really kind of nice. Now, Jupiter is known as our greatest benefic planet because he's bringing the best amount of benefits that he's got. Lots of blessings, lots of wisdom, all of that good kind of stuff. And he's our biggest, right? And Venus is our smaller benefic planet. So we've got all of these things that we're working with. Now, Jupiter is going to be interacting. Jupiter, positive, optimistic, wise, like, hey, going to be interacting in Scorpio, who is deep and intense and mysterious, and scrutiny is the thing for Scorpio, right? When these two get together, this kind of becomes a little bit of a complex relationship, don't you think? Because Jupiter's like, oh, I want to be big and friendly and expand, and Scorpio's like, we need to be suspicious about where we're expanding at, right? But where the benefit comes here with this movement is that they expand secrets out. They expand us from an intimate journey out, right? So what we see here is Jupiter expanding Scorpio, using that Pluto-Mars energy to dig out these talents that we have, these gifts that we've got to give to the world, dig out these secrets, dig out these bad behaviors that we've got. This is one of the most powerful energies that we have for change that we're going to be dealing with coming 2017, 2018, right? So when we look at this, when we look at the 13 months that it's going to spend there, I'm going to tell you right now, if you are one of the fixed signs, right? If you're Aquarius, if you're Taurus, if you're Leo, this is going to be, especially when Jupiter initially makes this transition into Scorpio, this is a harder, more stressful time for you, okay? Because your bad behaviors rush because you're stubborn, right? Like Jupiter's trying to come in here, do this cool thing, move you around, and you're not feeling it. You're a fixed energy. The tendency will be to ground down and say, I'm not moving, okay? So especially if you have a lot of fixed energy in your chart, be aware that if everybody's like, oh, Jupiter and Scorpio, and it hits and you're like, oh my gosh, what's happening? If you feel like you're overwhelmed, if this does not feel like a good time, that it will get better. Now, if you are one of the favored signs, which is going to be Capricorn, Pisces, Cancer, Virgo, those guys are favored, right? Jupiter is like just big fan of those signs during this transit. So it's easy flowing though. These are easy flowing energies, and that's why, okay? 13 months, we're going to deal with that. So watch the video, get the rest of the scoop on the Jupiter and Scorpio transit. But right now, I really want us to jump into the houses. But a couple things first of all. If you choose to use this Jupiter in Scorpio transit towards the positive, right? You have got a level of transformation to your given house that you're not capable of just because you want to be different, right? Wanting to be different gets you a seat at the table. Jupiter in Scorpio actually gets that shit done, right? This is gorgeous energy. Do not waste it. Do not fear it. I do not teach fear-based astrology. Right? Life's going to happen because there's pain involved in life because we're human. Use it towards the positive. Keep looking for information out in the world, out in the internet, on my channel about how to use this towards the positive so that you can navigate this and have the most beautiful transformation available to you. Now, if you do have Jupiter natally in your chart in Scorpio, It means that you're having a Jupiter return. Now, here's a question I was asked, and I want to just address it to kind of clear this up right away. So in your chart, yes, you can have two signs that occupy one house, because remember, in Western astrology, the houses don't move, and the houses are not made up of degrees. The signs are. So you can have a house that has both Sagittarius and Scorpio in it, right? You can have a house that has both Libra and Scorpio in it, or any of the two signs that are next to each other, right? So if right now you have a house that has, let's just say Scorpio and Sagittarius in it, right? If your Jupiter is in Scorpio, then yes, you are having a Jupiter return. But if your Jupiter, even though it's in the same house, is in Sagittarius, you are not in a Jupiter return. Your Jupiter return is that Jupiter returns to the place in your chart that it was when you were born, not the house, the sign. So I want to be very specific about that when you're looking at your charts, and as you're studying with me and other people who have beautiful information. Study this with everybody that you can. It's about Jupiter coming back to Scorpio. So if that's you, natally, you're having a Jupiter return, and you will notice that the changes are greatly magnified for you, right? Usually great improvement is what comes with a Jupiter return. That's why when you have a Jupiter return, unlike the Saturn return, when you have that and everybody's like, oh, it's going to be okay. When you have a Jupiter return, people say, many happy returns, right? Because this is great. You get so much more done. There's just so much improvement. Okay, let's jump in and let's just talk about this into the houses. And I want to say this just to preface this, because I know we have a lot of astrology studiers out there. I never wish to simplify the houses, right? I never want to make it sound easier than it is. I just want to give you guys my version of the best overview here without doing this as a 6-hour live stream, okay? So if you have Jupiter in Scorpio happening in your first house, what that means for you, right, is that this is the house of the self. This is the house of how you present yourself. This is the house of how people see you. Right? So people, you're going to probably start coming into a space and a place where, first of all, you're going to expand yourself. You're going to go out into the world differently, but that comes from the basis of, on the inside, you're getting a lot more comfortable with yourself. You're like, you know what? How come nobody told me I was so cool? Why did nobody tell me I was rocking that hairstyle that was not great for me? You change that up and you start to present yourself a little bit differently. There's some wisdom that comes with this as well, right? You have incredible powers to attract things to you when Jupiter is in the first house. Lots of compliments. I think that as we get going on this Jupiter and Scorpio business, even as we edge into these last degrees of Libra, you may find yourself receiving a lot of compliments. And that's okay. That's just Jupiter giving you some little extra zhuzh. You know what I mean? A little extra something. Now, what you want to do here is that you may have significant gains this year. And one of the things that I think comes from this significant gain situation is that you are seriously like you're a go-getter, right? You're moving towards something that you want. And even if you're not doing it with any kind of perfection, you just keep on, you've got this persistence about it, you're getting noticed about it. Now, what you want to do is keep pushing, keep moving, keep repeating what you're doing that is working. You really, if this is your first house Jupiter energy, you want to make the most of this year. It's the ideal time for you to start something new and run at it like this is the thing you're on fire about. Now, I will tell you, when we deal with Jupiter, we do, and when we deal with Scorpio as well, Scorpio is a very indulgent energy. Right? Ramiro, let me answer this real quick. Ramiro, we're just getting started. We're doing Jupiter in the first house. But Jupiter is also quite indulgent as well because he's too much. He's so extra. He's so extra. What you have to pay attention to if this is in your first house is you have got to pay attention to your diet. It is easy to just have that one more piece of cake. It really is. It's just... And before you know it, you have put on weight. And let me tell you, under the guise of Jupiter energy, and especially with Scorpio there, because Scorpio is a very sexual energy. And having a delicious piece of something can be just as sexual as actually getting it on, right? And before you know it, you've had too many little somethings that are so tasty. And now Jupiter has also expanded you out in the world by expanding your weight. So keep that in mind to kind of the negative of this as well, or not even the negative, but something to be mindful of. Now, if you struggle with your weight, especially keeping weight on, this is a wonderful energy for you because your body, it's like it fights less and you're able to do that a little bit better. So really a lot of positive things, but it's going to bring attention to you for sure in how you look, how you present yourself, definitely in the public as well. All right, we're going to move on here. Yes. Oh, I know. Some people are already really feeling the Jupiter energy start to move around. I'm telling you, coming into my third house, I'm like, oh yeah, I know I've got some book or some publication on the way. So anyway, let's talk about this second house. This is the house of your resources. It is how you make money, the material things that you have. It's also about your value. Now, here's the other thing that I don't think that even I talk enough about. The second house is also about your second thought, right? So it's like how you process things, how you process news. It's not the same as the third house, but it's like when somebody says something to you, and it like lights your body up, because the second house is a very body kind of place. It's that second moment that you go, okay, now wait a minute. Initially that shocked the crap out of me, but here's how I actually feel about that, right? So that's also what's happening up here. So when we watch this Jupiter return happening, one of the questions I would have for you is, are you receiving, a random gift, something financial, some kind of windfall, some kind of money coming in that you didn't expect? This is a wonderful, wonderful transit for business. It's really a wonderful transit for business because it can help things go a little bit more smoothly. If you've got bumps in your business, if you've got inventory issues, budgeting issues, clients that are not paying on time, this is a wonderful issue. This is a wonderful energy for that as well. Now, one of the things I do want to tell you is that Jupiter will continue to be pretty smooth if you've got this second house business. However, you have to be mindful of in your chart if there are what they call malefic, I don't care for that word, but if there are tougher planets or opposing aspects, because what that will do is make it so that money is actually blocked from you. So you want to make sure with that you're paying attention to your money, you're saving your money, you're including everything you need to on your finances when you're looking over them as well, because this is very budgeting energy. So paying attention to some of these money matters, of course, Jupiter can be extra here too, and you get overextended. You're like, oh, that's fine. I'll just take this out on credit. If you don't have the money for it, probably don't get it because it can get too big, right? Here's a phrase that I think comes with Jupiter in the second house. Well, I've really worked hard. I'm totally worth it. Right? Because we're about that value. So next thing you know, you're worth something you can't afford. But here's the thing that I think is a benefit here too. As the year progresses, if Jupiter's rocking your second house, you learn the value. Remember, this is the value house of saying no to things. Right? It's an excellent time to make solid progress in investments, in savings, in how you make money, and in your budget. I think it's a really good time too, just considering that there will be an opposition with Uranus as well, to maybe find a new teacher if you need help with budgeting or something like that, okay? So just kind of keep that in mind. Now, we want to go to the third house. What's happening when Jupiter comes into this third house in Scorpio? If you're learning something, if you're studying something, if you need a teacher, if you are a teacher, if you're writing a book, if you're trying to do something with your siblings, things like that, this is going to be a wonderful time for you. It's a great time to get in touch with family members and also cousins. I think this is a really great time for cousins. With Jupiter here in the third house, your horizons expand, right? You have these opportunities to more effectively learn something, more effectively teach something. If you need to communicate, it's also great for your mental health. Great, because it's like, all right, wait a minute, there's a little bit more going on here than just what I perceived before. You have emotions, you have feelings, you have needs, you have desires, you have all of these things that are going on inside of you, right? As deep, intimate needs and desires. And when's the last time you talked about them? When's the last time you asked to have them fulfilled? When's the last time you acknowledged them and said, you know what? I've been going and going and going, and the fact is I really don't sleep well at night, and I need to figure that out for my own health, right? Like, this is a great time for that. It's a great time to communicate. If you are a singer, I love this for you. Oh, I love this for this communication energy. The third house is also about being very flexible and adaptable. So this is a good time to be practicing that. I want to tell you, if you were wanting to launch a course because you wanted to teach something, especially online, or launch a blog or something like that, this is a wonderful time to do that. You're just such an open little sponge in terms of learning stuff right now that you get a lot of benefit from the expansion of Jupiter in Scorpio. And if you're looking at these little teeny tiny fine details, or you're trying to uncover some kind of mystery in a work that you're doing, this is wonderful because Scorpio will definitely give you the push for it there as well. I will just tell you this as a side note that I think is funny. If you have whatever you have going on, whatever your romantic life looks like, this is a judgment-free zone. This is a wonderful energy for sexting. I would tell you, be mindful with all of the things being dug up and secrets being pulled out. Not the best time for sending naked pictures, but sexting might be good if you and your partner are trying to build some spice. It's a wonderful time for something like that as well. Okay. Jupiter in the fourth house. This is your inner self, your home, your family, real estate, property. For so many of us, it's going to be about the ground foundational beliefs that we've had. We've been handed these beliefs as we were coming up, right? And now it's like, oh, what do I think? I have to decide my own foundation to build my life upon. I also think that some things with parents are going to get different for you here. So the big question of Jupiter in the fourth house that I think of right away is, over the last year, maybe even the last 5 years. Hold on, guys. Okay, sorry. The dogs got really excited. Okay, Jupiter, fourth house. My question is, what does your home life look like over the last few years? Is there a way that you need to be working a bond with your family? Have you been having a really intense stress between home and family, between work and home? Has your home life just been stressed or tested in any way, shape, or form? Have you needed the support of someone in your home, or you need to give it a little bit more? This is a great energy for that. I think it's also a really nice time, because Scorpio, we don't talk about it a lot, but Scorpio does like beautiful things. It likes meaningful, intense, beautiful things. So it's a great time for home improvements. And also having people who can help with home improvements or help with these fourth house improvements coming your way, coming your way as well. So I think that when we look at the Jupiter in the fourth house, it can also indicate a whole new home altogether. Between the third and the fourth house, I'll say this too, great energies for buying or selling homes if that's something you're looking to do. So a great project for the year for you would be to create something having to do with family. And remember, the fourth house digs a lot through history as well. It likes the family history, the genealogy, all of those things. So maybe you're looking back through your roots, right? So create that family album, create the family tree, do your ancestry.com, your DNA, get that all done. Reconnect with family, and family can be old friends as well if you hold them close and you hold them dear. I think the very first place of connection, reconnection during Jupiter and Scorpio is you with you. What do you believe now today? Who are you? Are you still running around trying to be what other people want you to be? What are your foundational ideas of you being a human and you being an adult person moving around in the world? The negative part is that you can have some really, really great, grandiose expectations of the people in your world, and they cannot meet them, especially family members, especially your parents, right? Like, you got to keep your expectations of them realistic, right? You got to make sure that you avoid being so critical of yourself or your others in your home zone so that you have a realistic view of what's going on there. I also feel like, too, for some people, because Scorpio is such an intense energy, this could be something with a parent that is transforming. So for some of us who have Jupiter and Scorpio in this 4th house, you could also have the transformation of the home look like children are leaving, children are coming. A person is leaving, a person is coming, whatever that looks like for you. All right, Jupiter over here in the 5th house, the house of creativity, children, joy. It's the joy house. Conception, and conception does not just mean conceiving babies. It's conceiving new things, new businesses, self-employment, performances. It can be a short-term romance or the beginning of a romance. All of those things are happening here in the 5th house. Now, Jupiter in Scorpio is a phenomenal energy where you could find yourself putting some kind of artistic something out there, some kind of self-expression thing out there into the world. If you sing, if you act, if you dance, if you create, if you are giving birth to babies, that's a really great thing. It's a wonderful energy for launching your new business or making changes to a business that you've got out there, bringing it up a level. Raising the joy vibration of your business is really, really good right here. Wonderful for love, romance, creative endeavors. And I also feel like this is a very brave energy because it's like, oh, I can do this. I can overcome. I can. This feels like a very I can kind of energy. Now, what you will not be able to do with Jupiter in the 5th house is just be so joyful and so self-expressive that you forget that there are other people involved. You have to be accountable and take responsibility for your actions and your attitudes and the way that you're speaking to people. You can say anything you want. It's always about how you say it. That whole deal, right? Now, children, this is a big thing. Children's lives may be a big part of your world. And they may be helping to teach you to stay optimistic about things. Your children may actually do something that inspires you, or you decide to do something with them. I think we cut out for a minute there, guys. I hope that we're back. If it's a year for your children where it feels like there's all of these choices, you don't need to be bogged down in the choices. You just need to be a nice guide, okay? It's also just a great energy, I think, for communication channels to be open between you and children. Feelings are wide open, emotions are wide open, so it makes a really great space for conversation. And especially if there have been any issues, because Scorpio is going to pull up those secrets, going to pull up those issues. So if you've had issues in relationships, especially romantic and children ones, it's going to be a great place to bring some healing to them and bring the drama up to the surface so that you can roll it away and heal it. Jupiter in the 6th house, your daily life, day-to-day routines, right? Your health, being in service, and your co-workers. Some of you are going to have stuff pop off at work. You just will, right? Some things have been going on with co-workers, bosses, your ideas of what you want at work. They run to the surface and it's like, oh, I can't stand this job, or oh, Barbara's making me crazy. No disrespect to any Barbaras out there. Whatever it is, and it comes to the surface, so it's actually an opportunity to heal that, to get it cleared out, to get some resolution on that. As well, though, it makes you prone to, because Jupiter wants to expand you, prone to receiving a promotion. This is a great promotional energy because maybe you're just kicking ass and taking names on projects, right? Maybe you've really been stepping up in some way, shape, or form. But either way, this is an energy that does seek to make the workplace more pleasant for not just you, but for everybody involved. But this is another house that we have to be careful because it deals so much with the physical body of going to the negative of that Jupiter expansion energy, and you're eating too much. You're putting on too much weight, right? Just try not to overindulge. I'm telling you, Jupiter's not overly emotional, but he does like snacks. He really does. I mean, I like snacks, but Jupiter likes snacks too. 2 seconds, guys. I'm going to shut my door so we make sure that you guys can still hear me. Hold on. Okay, sorry guys, I'm back. Let's do this. Hopefully the stream is still going well. I'm seeing you guys over here in the live chat. Let's see. Okay. The live chat seems to still be going well, so I'm hoping you guys can still see me in the stream. OBS said it was weird for a second, so hopefully it's not too bad. All right, so great year with Jupiter in Scorpio in the 6th house for renovating your lifestyle. What does your daily routine look like? If there are things in your daily routine that are not working out, because you know life is actually not supposed to be that you run until you drop, right? Those are the choices that we make to have our lives look like. But what do you want from life? Do you want to enjoy things? Do you want to actually be with the people in your life, or do you want to keep being at them because you're actually exhausted, right? What does your daily routine look like? This is a great year for renovating your lifestyle. Great time for renovating your lifestyle through diet, through exercise, through service to others. What does your service life look like? You know, is your life all about you? Or is your life also about going out and being of service to be helpful to other people, right? Being a parent doesn't count as being of service, right? But choosing to go out and be helpful to somebody because you know it would make their life better, that's service. My favorite saying is, if it's not inconvenient, it's probably not service. You know what I mean? Because it challenges each of us to challenge our schedules, challenge our minds, and to challenge what we're doing, and then to just give of ourselves. So at work, if you need to learn something, if you need to grow in a skill set to get that promotion, to become the employee that you want or the employer that you want, this is a wonderful energy here for improving that skill set as well. Jupiter in the 7th house. We're going to talk relationships here, but not just relationships, not just romantic, not just marriage, not just divorce, not just any of those things. These are conscious relationships that we choose, right? So at this level, you are choosing to interact in this relationship, and so is the other person. So if you're single and you're looking for somebody, Jupiter in Scorpio could be a great time for you to meet somebody who's super charming, all of that good kind of stuff. If you already have a spouse, if you already have a partner, I think this is a great energy for bringing some spicy to the table, because Scorpio really likes some spicy. It really does. I would suggest, how would I say this? Giving a gift of your personal style to somebody, right? Like, because this is a conscious chosen relationship. So if you're going to take somebody on a date, you're going to do something fun, like, you know, maybe it's not so traditional. Maybe it's what comes from your heart to do it. Maybe what you guys do is have, you know, seafood ramen, or, you know, you go indulge in some kind of dinner, but you learn to make it from YouTube. You give of yourself from here. I think that makes one of these really beautiful, because don't forget that the 7th house is actually very particular and very artistic. So it doesn't have to be the traditional kind of beautiful art, but they do like artistic things here. So it is a good time too to practice art, or to do something artistic with another person or with yourself as well. Maybe even doing something that you've never done, or doing something like seeing a movie, seeing a musical, seeing a show, going out to see something instead of maybe just going to see a movie, but going to see an actual musical or something like that. So partnerships, gonna expand, gonna get bigger. You're gonna pull some more in, right? They may be placed right in front of you, and you need to walk towards them to take advantage of them. That's what Jupiter's gonna do. Set it right there so that you can go ahead and take advantage of them. So, partnerships, business ventures, relationship matters in general are bigger and more important. And they're also a lot more all-encompassing, right? There's a lot going on. When Jupiter is in Scorpio, everybody's got some advice to offer you. Everybody's got something to say. Everybody knows what's best for you, whether you ask them about it or not, right? There's just a lot of conversation that happens here, but there's a lot of exposure to new people here, right? There's a lot of exposure to the idea that, yeah, you're meeting all these people and they have something to say about your life, and you don't need to take it personally, because they're actually just trying to get to know you. So you start to consciously think about your relationships differently as well. Now, when it comes to the 7th house, here's what I think is important to remember with Jupiter, because it can be extra. Just because an important opportunity is coming into your life, or just because a person who's just too cute for words is coming into your life, doesn't mean that it's your opportunity. You do have to pay attention, right? Be choosy when it comes to the opportunities that you take. This is a conscious choice. Research that person, research that opportunity. Trust your gut. And when I say trust your gut, I mean if you get an inkling about somebody that feels like it's not right, say it out loud to another person and let them give you some feedback on what they're hearing. That's what it means to trust your gut, right? Not every opportunity, not every relationship, not every partnership this year is for you, because play not. You can take Jupiter and Scorpio and pull in a crappy partnership. But if that's what you do, right, that's not a judgment. That's about you have a lesson to learn there. But be choosy if this is rocking through your 7th house, okay? Now, I mean, once every 12 years when Jupiter makes this kind of move, we have the opportunity to really grow our relationships, really pull some delicious and enriching relationships and people into our lives by the opportunities presented to us. We just do have to pay attention. All right, Jupiter in the 8th house. So this is the house of course, sex, intimacy, right? Some of the most intimate things that we have are our secrets about what we fear, and also the secrets about what we really do well. Death, reproductive things, disease, illness, obsession, joint finances or resources. There's always a connection to something else in us when we look at this 8th house. It's a very transformative house, right? So Jupiter is in Scorpio. This is a very comfortable placement for Scorpio, typically in the 8th house. It can increase your finances, and it usually comes through sources where you didn't necessarily earn it, right? But it's coming to you. This could be inheritance, it could be any of those magical things that we want to hear about. But it could also just be, that you're going to work, you're doing your thing. Let's say, your company decides to extra match something in your 401k, or you get a bonus, or you get a something that ends up coming to you, right? I especially think that if you work in business management, if you are a manager in some specific sense, or you work in banking, you will see your finances, something interesting happen to your finances, usually good, over this next 13 months. I want to think too that this could also really up your sex drive. Jupiter does like some expansion. Scorpio's like, yes, 8th house. Hi, cutie, So it could definitely be upping your sex drive, that's for sure. Now, the other thing it can do is make you a little temperamental, okay? Because Scorpio is not always the most rowdy, giggly about it sign, and they're not always so dark and broody either. But it can make you temperamental, and you just need to be aware of that. Be aware of your attitudes and your actions. The other thing it will do is make you very intensely focused. Okay, whatever it is, you're going to focus on it. Maybe you're really focusing on studying metaphysics. Maybe you're really focusing. This is it. You've decided you're going to take the time to really study your energy work. You're going to really study your psychology. You're going to really study sex. You're going to really study disease. Maybe you're going to really get in depth with treating a disease, right? I'm telling you, during Jupiter and Scorpio, make sure your sexual health and your sexual organs, including your breasts, are up to par, right? This is a great time. If you haven't done an STD test in a really long time, great time for that. If you haven't actually gotten yourself familiar with the latest in GYN or reproductive organ issues that could be out there, this is a great time to study it and be mindful of them. And then to give those things some love. When's the last time you had, a clitoral massage, right? Like, when's the last time you did that? When's the last time you did anything to make sure that your body is still connected to your own developing sexuality as well, right? And when's the last time you did that for maybe a partner that you have? Because we can just get out there and just, pass out these coochie coupons and pee-pee coupons like it's nobody's business. But is that helping you grow? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. When's the last time you knew you? Because I promise you, you get to know yourself in all of these arenas of death, transformation, sexuality, connection to another, including that divine energy. And your emotions and your talents are going to come running to the surface, because this is the space of your creativity, right? This is your creativity center. Okay, I just got all excited about it. Okay. That said, money investments with Jupiter in the 8th house could be great, especially if it's a joint resource. Again, Jupiter can be extra, so take a rational approach to what you're doing. Maybe be a little bit more conservative and reserved in your approach to what you're doing with money. Follow your gut, trust your instincts, okay? It's not, I don't think for so many of us, I don't think this is the year where you just strike it rich. I don't think that that's it. That will depend on your individual chart. Although I think that, money can consistently flow in your way. And it's really possible this year that joint resources, maybe your spouse gets a little something, and that ends up benefiting you. And I'm telling you that is also true if you are divorced, right? Because in some divorce settlements, if that person starts making some more money, you get some more money as well. So it could be something like that. It's maybe not just as direct as you're thinking. So kind of keep that in mind as well, that can come from many different sources. I don't know why. For some of you, I just want to tell you it's a great time for you if you need to. It's in connection. Give me a second, guys. The vision's coming. It's remodeling. If you're remodeling something, a joint space, maybe it's the kitchen, maybe it's someplace you're together. You keep seeing a bathtub. So if you need to remodel your bathroom, this might be your energy, okay? This may be also a marriage year for some people because, again, you're welcoming in a new marriage, okay? Maybe you are, and a marriage can also be, maybe it's you haven't had sex in 100 years and now you get to have some sex or something like that. So anyways, what I'm going to tell you here is that around that stuff, make sure you ask a lot of questions. If it's a new partner, make sure you're really honest about your sexual past and history if you are going to interact with somebody new, okay? All right. Okay. Of course, there are other issues that can come up during this, taxes, loans, things like that. Try and not be too extra about it. Just be wise. When we look at Jupiter in the 9th house, I went on an 8th house tangent. Let's look at Jupiter in the 9th house. This is the house of beliefs, philosophy. I teach it's our biggest faith house because this is the place of faith where you go, all right, I don't know what's down there. I don't know what's out there. This is what I feel called to do. I'm just going to put it in the fuck it bucket and jump, and I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to see what happens because faith, you have faith when you take action and see if something catches you when you're down there, right? So faith, beliefs, philosophy, higher learning, higher teaching, things foreign, right? And foreign can just mean not like you. Foreign can also mean international as well. So I think that you have this ability to do some really good self-discovery, especially from other people, right? I know. I see you over here, Mia Moore. I see you. So you have the opportunity for some good expansion. I think this is one of the more complex houses when Jupiter's here, but you are put in a position where it increases your chances of traveling, first of all, which increases your ability to have be in a new place and meet new faces and meet new ideas, which put you in a position to grow and see things from a position that you hadn't considered. If you haven't taken a vacation in a long time, you could be doing that. If you've been wanting and planning to take a vacation, you want to go abroad, this is a wonderful energy to try and plan that. If you want to further your education, certifications, licenses, any of those kinds of things, really good for that as well. If you've been reflecting on things with your faith, if you've been having questions about your faith in terms of your religion, this is a wonderful energy to expand there. I think for some of you, it's going to be an energy where you start or finish your higher education, master's degree, PhD level. That's what I'm talking about. As well, this is fun too, because higher learning doesn't always mean traditional classical academia. It could be, maybe you've been an accountant for 100 years and you're like, I have been waiting to take Nia, right? I have been waiting to take astrology of the moon. I have been waiting to take Zen crystals. You could be enrolling in something like that and spending the next 13 months really, really enjoying that and diving into that as well. You may also bring a new person into your life who plays the role of some kind of important teacher. You could be the teacher as well, and likely wherever this teaching comes from, it's something foreign. Maybe you're different cultures, maybe you just come from such different walks of life, but yet here you are and you're sharing beautiful information. So it's a great time, I think. In this house, we can have expectations that are too grandiose, right? Like it's too big because it's the higher mind, and the higher mind can just see it all. It misses the details sometimes. So I think this is a good year to get your expectations in alignment, right? Like Not necessarily what's real, like don't dream, don't have the vision, but can you really get that done? Are you really willing to do what you need to do to get that done? This is also a great year for publishing. If you haven't published, if you haven't broadcast yourself out there yet, this is a great year for publishing. Get that book out there, get that paper out there, whatever that looks like. While you're trying to move forward, though, to new goals, new horizons, new ideas, I think you do have to rein it in a little bit, learn to be a little bit more practical. You plant a lot of seeds this year. You plant a lot of seeds. Maybe you're planting the seeds of learning something new that later in the next couple years you want to be able to do, teach, give away, whatever. This is where you plant those seeds, is in this house during this energy. Solid success. That's what I want to say about the 9th house. This is just a really good year for solid success here. Let's talk about Jupiter in the 10th house. Jupiter in the 10th house, the house of the career. Career, I say that very lightly because career, let me be clear. Career is, okay, fine, you go out to your corporate job, cool. Career is, are you a stay-at-home mom? Are you a stay-at-home dad? Are you self-employed? Do you have a 9-to-5 job, but then after that you go and you teach watercoloring, you give this piece of yourself away? Because the 10th house is also that place where it's like your soul level calling. What are you meant to give to the world? What's your gift, right? You do it and all of you shows up while you're doing it. So 10th house doesn't just mean the career place, but of course it can. It's also the place of authority figures. So Jupiter in Scorpio, also your social status and your reputation is here as well. So persistence. I feel like this is a place of a persistent transit for you. You have great advancement opportunities in your career. You can really be pushing ahead, pushing forward. And it's not that you're maybe working so much harder or anything like that, but it's that what you've been doing persistently and just keeping at it, even if you've been keeping your head down, the higher ups are starting to notice, right? And maybe even you're starting to notice. You're like, oh, I've been doing this job this way. I know 100% how to do this. Why am I doing this for this company? Why am I not doing this on my own for myself, right? You could start to notice some things as well. I think that because you have a sense of persistence under this energy, you just become favorable to people around you because they see you as consistent, persistent, and willing to work hard. Like a strong sense of career and social standing comes from it for your reputation. Now, you could get some really interesting relationships with authority figures or people who are in positions of power, right? And can help you get something done or help you whatever. So that could be something that could be coming for you as well. But there's definitely this sense of you are being recognized, you are being received well, but you are working for it this year. Remember, Jupiter throws you those opportunities, but you got to move your butt and go get them. You are working for them. It is not a something for nothing kind of year. People get excited about Jupiter, but it is not something for nothing. You will be working, but you will be rewarded for your efforts. That's the really beautiful part. Now, with Jupiter and Scorpio in your career, around your reputation, one of the things I'm going to tell you is what goes around comes around. If you're spewing out negativity, that negativity will come back. It will come back, and it seems like it comes so fast when Jupiter is in that career space, right? If you have Jupiter in the 10th house natally, you know you've got fast karma, right? You do something, you say something, and it's like, zoom. So this is a time that could be happening as well. So getting a lot more grounded in your attitude that you're putting out into the world. You know, are you breeding a little bit more positivity or are you oozing a lot of negativity? Look at your speech. It's a great time to look at how you're talking about things, how you're talking to people. It's not what you're saying, it's how you're saying it, right? So it's a great time for you to do that. And those movements of looking at how you're talking, how you're communicating, how you are in the world gives you these opportunities to climb this ladder, whether it be the corporate ladder or your own ladder of starting your own business and getting out there following your passion. Organizations are going to continue to change, right? Like our big organizational structures are going to continue to change. So you will need to be able to put your best foot forward to take advantages of the awards here. Connection Connection at first may be challenging for you, especially if you are a fixed sign. You may not like what's going on. You may not like the changes you're feeling from the inside out. But if you will put your best foot forward and be willing to take accountability, responsibility for how you are placing yourself in there, you really have a lot of rewards coming your way. Okay, 11th house, Jupiter and Scorpio in the 11th house. So the 11th house, friends, groups, group associations, the internet, socials, right? Any place we interconnect. So the socials, and that includes online, that includes networking events, that includes your long range goals as well. That's what else is happening from the 11th house, long range goals. I'm going to tell you right now, if Jupiter and Scorpio is in the 11th house, or if you're getting this energy in the 11th house for you, if you have an online business, this is so good for you. This is so good for you. You can really expect to flourish, especially if it hasn't already. If you just started your YouTube channel and you're like, I'm not sure, what if this is going to work out? I don't know if I'll be able to do this. And it's like collaborations show up. It's like people are like, oh, hey, you're talking about whatever. The collaborations kind of come out of the woodwork for you here. So it's a great time for you if you have an online business. This is a wonderful energy for advertising stuff if you have an online business, or if you have a regular storefront business as well. Your online life could really help to bump up business for you. You can plan on meeting your tribe, maybe a whole new tribe of people that are in alignment with you. So many of you have been waking up to your spirituality and really, really waking up to your psychic sense, but you're not centrally located around family members or old friends that are exactly like that as well. Your tribe is on the way. How amazing is that? Here's the things you want to be mindful as the tribe's coming in and new people are coming your way and coming into your life with this Jupiter energy. Try not to be so judgmental of them. Okay, they're humans too, so try not to be too overly judgmental. Give yourself a chance to get to know them, especially Scorpio is an absolutely suspicious of people energy. Right? So you have to keep that in mind. If you meet somebody and they immediately just rock your core and you're like, no, thank you. I mean, short of them like walking up to you with a gun, of course, you know what I'm saying? But if it's just, ooh, I just don't care for her and you guys are just in a business networking thing, give that person a chance, because they may be just revealing something to you that you need to work on, and they act as this really nice agent and messenger for your change, and then you end up liking them on the other side and you have this really strong collaboration, and that person is definitely a part of your tribe. So when it comes to people, try not to just push them off right away because they present something to you that feels challenging, right? Really exciting. Now I'm going to tell you too, in the 11th house, especially if you have strong Capricorn placements and this energy is happening for you in your 11th house, please try very hard not to sleep with your coworkers. Please try so hard not to sleep with your boss unless you have the green light to do it, because it can really cause problems. Okay, but this is definitely that thing. Some of this energy likes to get sexy in the friendship zone. But this is a good energy to develop friendships as well. Develop something stable without having to get too clingy, or without having to you know what I mean? Make a person feel like they have to be there. I really feel like this is a place where let the clingy go. Just learn how to form effective, stable, beautiful friendships and networking relationships as well. This could be where you find your friends giving you a lot of support. Now, here's the other part I think is pretty cool about this 11th house stuff, is that you can lay your plans for the future here. You can innovate them. I told you about long range goals. Maybe you've had a long range goal, maybe you haven't set one out, but whatever it is, you have a really nice chance for revision here, because you can kind of rediscover your own ambitions and also rediscover ways to get to that long range goal. If you set that long range goal 5 years ago, well, technology has changed. How can you more effectively get to that goal? So you'll have the chance to have a remarkable reinvention with that this year. Now, to the downside of Jupiter and Scorpio in the 11th house is that there could be so many ideas floating around. You're overwhelmed by how many ideas that you have, and you can't figure out which one to pick to stick. Okay, it is okay. Roll up your sleeves, get to a little work, write them down on paper, and then find your tribe. Find somebody, go outside and talk to the flowers and start just saying these ideas out loud. If you will speak them out loud, one of them, the one, will stick, right? It will become like a light bulb, and you'll be like, oh, That's the one. That's the one I need to run with, okay? So your social life's going to be busy though when Jupiter's in the 11th house. Last house, guys. So sorry, 12th house, if you've been waiting. 12th house. This is our private house. But here's the deal with the 12th house with Jupiter, especially with Scorpio there. The 12th house is about fear. It's about closure. It's about behind the scenes things. It's about secrets. And these are not the secrets like your hidden talents. These are your secrets like an affair, an emotional affair. You stole something. You did something. These are the secrets that we are keeping, right? This is also the place of your psychic sense, your subconscious mind, maybe a wound that you've experienced in this lifetime or another, and the light's going to start shining. I really feel like we start to look at the things that you're afraid of in the 12th house. They become apparent. They become bursting open into the surface. And what I tell you about Jupiter and Scorpio in the 12th house is go to the fear. Go to the fear. Where the fear's at, go. Go get in it, right? Because the only way to overcome that fear is to jump in with a big old light of faith and allow that light to clear out that darkness. That's a lot of what this is about. Now, Jupiter, Scorpio, 12th house, one of the things is that you may receive some really great news from somebody that you trust. Or from some source, and it's almost like a blessing in disguise. You know what I mean? Like you're like, oh my God, I don't want this relationship to be over. Oh my God, I just can't possibly lose my job. And it leaves space for you to meet the next person who you're like, people like this don't come into my life. I don't deserve this, because then you're going to have to deal with that fear, right? Or I can't believe I lost my job. What am I going to do? And then it gives you space to start your own business, right? A little hungry gets people real motivated, right? Right? So whatever it is, blessings that come in disguise, they kind of sneak in here during this transit. It's a time to invest in yourself. It's a time to invest in your privacy. If you need to be sleeping better, being at home, if you need to be working on your prayer life so that you can have a spiritual awakening, if you need to be meditating, if you need to have some alone time, if you need to have some get with your own body time, like this is a great energy. Now, Jupiter really is a fan of religions as well as spirituality. So in the 12th house, it conforms a little bit more to this idea of spirituality. So you may be a specific religion, and Jupiter in this placement for you helps you develop and grow your spirituality so that your religion and those practices can make more sense to you or feel closer to your heart. And for some of you, it will be that it will help you to outgrow the ideas of confinement that you have. So one of the ideas that I love to look at with people in the 12th house is this idea of God, and I use the word God just for convenience, good orderly direction, right? This idea that God, that divine energy, all of that, when we look at it through the lens of spirituality, and if you ask any medium, psychic, or anybody else, they're going to tell you that God energy has no interest whatsoever in confining you. It'll let you do whatever you want. When's the last time God stopped you from doing something? Like, it doesn't work that way, but it's finding a way to live within spiritual law. So that may be a lot of what you're working on. Now, I also think too, if you've had loved ones that have passed over, even people who are still here, you are in guardian angel territory, right? Like you may be getting lots of signs, lots of guides, lots of dreams, a lot of guidance, a lot of all of these things trying to push you in the direction of healing, push you in the direction of moving something to the surface so that it's not keeping your soul darkened and quieted. Now, guardian angels too are secret angels. I think this may be in the 13-month where you feel like, where did that secret angel come from? You want to take this astrology class and you can't afford it, and all of a sudden there's a sale and you can afford it. You feel lost. You feel like nobody feels like you do, and you hear somebody at the record store say, oh yeah, such and such happened to me, and your heart lights up, right? So this is guardian angel territory. Now, I would tell you, angels, traditionally in what my experience is, angels love pennies. So if you see pennies, pick them up. If you can drop pennies for other people, if you can put pennies out and around your house, if you've got 12th house energy, and this is for anybody with strong 12th house, but definitely with Jupiter here, if you can put pennies out, you're almost inviting guidance and you're inviting great light into your life. Now, attempts to be forceful are not going to be to your benefit with Jupiter here in this 12th house. It's almost like you don't need to force, but you do need to trust, right? You need to plant a seed for something. You need to watch it bloom. You can't You can yell at a flower all you want. It's not going to grow any faster. You have to step back and watch some patience be here. Start planting your seeds for savings bonds, for projects you want to launch out later. If you've been working on research, this will be great for your schooling. If you've been working on leaving an affair, if you've been working on starting an affair, all of these things become really available during this transit for you. Now, I will tell you, beginning in November, before Jupiter gets ready to make a move out, I want you to just be careful of not starting too many projects, okay? Because you need to have just a few to be able to actually finish. Don't start too many. But this is a time where you can plant these little seeds of intention, get some things going, and then watch them kind of flower out over the next 13 months. So I think one of the best examples of Jupiter in the 12th house that I can ever give anybody is push inward, right? Go to your subconscious. Look at the things that you're hiding from the world. Look at the way you are hiding yourself from the world. Are you hiding in your house? Are you afraid to go meet new people? What does this look like? Push in here and allow Jupiter's energy of pushing you out. Follow it. Trust that. Trust that inevitably this energy is working to push you into the perfect position for your life, always working towards your greatest good. Ooh! Oh, 12 houses, guys. We got it done in an hour, which is exactly what I was hoping to do. I didn't want to keep you hostage at all. I don't want to talk about it for too long, but I hope that this was helpful for you guys. I hope that it gave you a direction to start thinking in, to start planning, and to start being willing to study. If you ordered your chart, if you ordered a Jupiter 10, I'm going to leave that sale up for just another 10-15 minutes. So if you haven't had a chance to order, pop in there. You want to grab it right away before I shut that down. But if you did order, I will be starting to work on getting those things to you guys probably tomorrow afternoon and sending them over. I try not to work on the weekend so I can be present. I'm not working tonight because I'm going to go put on something sexy, true story. And definitely through the week you'll see your things showing up, okay, you guys? I'm really excited to be getting this stuff to you guys because I know that when I do a horoscope, I get so much more excited when you have your chart in front of you and you can say, oh, this is what she's talking about. So hopefully this is more than useful to you guys. So I'm going to go get a little bit of my sexy on, take a shower, get this hair under control. But I love you guys so much and I look forward to seeing you and talking to you next week. Bye, you guys. Now I have to figure out how to shut us off. Yes, Val Jones, I'm going to be going to get it in a minute. And you know my boyfriend's an Aries, so we're going to get it. We're going to get it done. Bye, guys.